and these words were to me as the notes of bells, the sounds of musical instruments, the noises of wind, sea and rain, the rattle of milk carts, the clopping of hooves on cobbles, the fingering of branches on a window pane. Poetry is what makes me laugh or cry or yawn, what makes my toenails twinkle, what makes me want to do this or that or nothing. All that matters about poetry is the enjoyment of it, however tragic it may be.
Good evening everyone and welcome. I'm Michael Sheen and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the 2020 Swansea University Dylan Thomas Prize. We have a wonderful evening in store for you with readings from our international shortlisted authors and of course the announcement of the 2020 winner of the Dylan Thomas Prize. This year we celebrate the 15th anniversary of the prize and Swansea University's centenary. But first, it gives me great pleasure to hand over to the Vice-Chancellor of Swansea University, Professor Paul Boyle.
Croeso I bawb. Welcome to Swansea University's Dylan Thomas Prize ceremony. And this year is particularly special because it's our centenary year, 2020. Of course, these are unprecedented times. I want to reach out to all of those of you who may have lost friends and family during this difficult time. Even so, tonight is a night of celebration, to recognise those authors 39 years and younger who've been selected to go through to the shortlist, and good luck to you all this evening. I'd also like to thank all of the judges and organisers for pulling this together. There's no better time to celebrate this wonderful work that we see before us. I really do hope you have a great time. I look forward to seeing you all face to face at another time. And please, let's reach out to those winners for tonight. Good luck, everyone.
Each year, the Swansea University Dylan Thomas Prize attracts hugely talented writers from far and wide, writing across all different genres. And this year is no exception. Here to tell us more about them and about the judging panel is Chair of the Judges, Professor Di Smith.
Hello, I'm Di Smith. And it's been a great honour to have been the chair of the judges for the 2020 Swansea University International Dylan Thomas Prize. As we all know, it's been an extraordinarily difficult time for everybody across the world. And without the magic of technology, we, the judges, wouldn't have been able to get this far in the process because we haven't been able to meet face to face, nor been able to meet with our authors. Nonetheless, we have got here, and from what was a dazzling long list of 12 books, the judges have brought us down to a short list of 6 volumes, which are quite sensational. The judges are a truly international panel, so let me tell you who they are. Senior Judge Kurt Heinzelman is a poet and critic from Texas. Bridget Minamore is a British Ghanaian poet and critic, and Max Liu is a journalist and art critic from England also. And then we have Lucy Caldwell from Northern Ireland, the novelist and short story writer who actually won the Dylan Thomas Prize in 2011. From India, we have Namita Gokhale, who is the founder of the Jaipur Literature Festival and herself a novelist. And finally, from the People's Republic of Barnsley in South Yorkshire, we have the celebrated poet and writer, presenter of Radio 3's The Verb, Ian Macmillan. Those are the judges, and the books that they have chosen for the shortlist are going to give them a headache to find the eventual winner tonight. There's an unusual slant on the shortlist of 6 books for this year because for the first time ever in the Dylan Thomas Prize in our 15-year history, we have 3 volumes of poetry. Poetry which is in turn anguished, entrancing, enchanting, and gut-wrenching. There's J. Bernard's Surge, there's Mary Jean Chan's Flesh, and Stephen Sexton's book, If All the World and Love Were Young. And their competitors are 3 astonishing works of prose, a novel, a novella, and a collection of short stories. There's Thea Obrecht's take on the Wild West of America, Inland. There's Ocean Vuong's episodic, epiphanic work, which is called wonderfully On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. And finally, there's Bryan Washington's composite collection of stories, compassionate, witty, and graceful, and that's called Lot. But there can be only one winner of the Dylan Thomas Prize, and we will shortly find out who the judges have decided that person is going to be.
And now it is time to hear from our 2020 shortlisted writers.
Hi everyone, I'm Jay Bernard. I'm the author of Surge. I'm going to read 2 poems. Harbour. My voice, it was so weak, so sickened, so grieved. My voice, it was so weak and it broke in the heat. So sickened, so sad, my voice, it was broke. So low was the hope that it sickened, I choked. It closed in my throat. My voice, it was weak, so sickened, so grieved. My voice became glass breaking in heat. I called, and no one seemed to call with me, and no one seemed to know or see what I had seen. I was so sickened and so grieved. And I said to the child I knew harboured in the fire, jump, Yvonne, jump, Paul, jump. And I said to my God I knew harboured in the fire, jump, Yvonne, jump, Paul, jump. I said, I called, jump, Yvonne, jump, Paul, jump. My voice, it was so weak, Paul, jump. So sickened and so grieved. Chemical. And all of their ghosts are burning above the city. Some fires burn pink as damaged blossom. Those broken vessels, bruised, lit, and upward streaking, rose-hot capillaries ignite the dead's ragged cloth and unshrooms them to gas. Screaming cackle, frayed spirit, unbecoming black we think makes up the unseen, but that black is the last twisted shape their bodies will take. The floor, the rooms, liquid windows, part absence, part gas. And then the wind breathed sideways. Their soot is scattered, ghosts of the now gone, dragged out of hereafter back to tonight, back to the cold air making its way towards a darker past, the true past, there at spirit level.
Hi everyone, I'll be reading to you all from my collection Flesh, and the first poem is called Practice. As a teenager, fencing was the closest thing I knew to desire. All the girls swapping one uniform for another before practice, their white dresses replaced by breeches. I thought we were princes in a fairy tale with a twist, since there were no princesses to be taken, wed. As knights, we were told to aim for an imaginary spot just above our opponent's left breast. Often I left a bruise, the blade's tip ricocheting off chest guards onto skin. Just as often I would feel yellow blooms of ache where the girl I thought was beautiful had pierced my heart. Hours later, I would transform. I would head back home with a deepening sense of dread, my bruises fading to quiet. Conversation with Fantasy Mother. Dear Fantasy Mother, thank you for taking my coming out as calmly as a pond accepts a stone flung into its depths. You sieved my tears, added an egg, then baked a beautiful cake. You said, let us celebrate, for today you are reborn as my beloved. The candles gleamed, and the icing was almost true, impossibly white, coated with the sweetness of sprinkles. We sat together at the table and ate. Afterwards, I returned to my room and touched all the forbidden parts of myself, felt a kindness I had not known in years. The last poem I'll read is called Beauty. All the metaphors have failed. The sea is infinitely breakable. My mother is raging the way waves do. Anger is a secondary emotion, a statement from my therapist who specializes in honesty, a rare trait that calms me, and she is so beautiful. I wish I could summon all the beauty in this world, ward off any jagged feelings. I cannot stand the faces of beautiful women. I feel a deep need to protect any plausible display of happiness. You see, my mother is fearful of open windows, the abiding terror of the world's light. Thank you.
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure and privilege to join you from beautiful Wyoming. I hope everyone is healthy and safe, and it's a real honor to be with you tonight. I'm reading from my book Inland, and here it is. When those men rode down to the fording place last night, I thought us done for. Even you must realize how close they came. Their smell, the song of their bridles, the whites of their horses' eyes. True to form, blind though you are, and with that shot still irretrievable in your thigh, you made to stand and meet them. Perhaps I should have let you. It might have averted what happened tonight, and the girl would be unharmed. But how could I have known? I was unready, disbelieving of our fate, and in the end could only watch them cross and ride up the wash away from us in the moonlight. And wasn't I right to wait, for habit, if nothing else? I knew you had flight in you yet. You still do, as do I, as I have all my life since long before we fell in together, when I first came round to myself, 6 years old and already on the run, wave-rocked, with my father in the bunk beside me, and all around the hiss of water against the hull. It was my father running back then, though from what, I never knew. He was thin, I think. Young, perhaps. A blacksmith, perhaps, or some other hard-laboring man who never caught more rest than he did that swaying month when night and day went undiffered, and there was nothing but the creak of rope and pulley somewhere above us in the dark. He called me Sine, and some other name I've struggled lifelong to recall. Of our crossing, I remember mostly foam veins and the smell of salt, and the dead, of course, outlaid in their white shrouds side by side along the stern. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, a virtual hello and a real hello. I hope you're all safe and well in the great indoors. It's a privilege and an honour to share this shortlist with so many writers whose work I admire, and I want to thank again the judges and the organisers of this prize and Swansea University. It's a shame we can't be together, but another time perhaps. So, 2 short poems about being indoors and looking at the world outside. Yoshi's house. These are the days of no letters. The magenta mailbox jitters out of the visible spectrum. Babies chirp in our holly tree. Mountains yield to the foreground. And sadly, again, they're beautiful. My friends scattered in the lowlands. The fire seizes in the grate. The smoke signals across the eaves say all I really mean to say. I have gone to rescue my friends. I'll think of you and you and you. Yoshi's Island 2. Pixels and bits, their perpendicularity. One of the worlds I live in is as shallow as a pane of glass. The threshold of the window sets a frame around the holly tree. Wild funguses, slimy with dew and toxicity, the rubies of hollyberries sing on the branches the robins hide among, and the veins of ivy vines wind around the slumping trunk and boughs, sloe berries in the blackthorn and the carcinogenic bracken. Groundsels loiter along the low-dashed wall the daisies loll about. One summer's day, I'm summoned home to hear of cells which split and glitch so haphazardly. Someone is called to intervene with poisons drawn from strange and peregrine trees flourishing in distant kingdoms. We take the air in the garden, bitter with berries and mushrooms too toxic to eat, where the grass bows in an unexpected breeze. See you soon.
Hello, I'm Ocean. is my Joy Division shirt, and I'm going to be reading from Unutterably Gorgeous, and in the newly minted paperback edition from Vintage. Here we go. It is a beautiful country, depending on where you look. Depending on where you look, you might see the woman waiting on the shoulder of the dirt road, an infant girl wrapped in a sky blue shawl in her arms. She rocks her hips, cups the girl's head. You were born, the woman thinks, because no one else was coming. Because no one else is coming, she begins to hum. A woman, not yet 30, clutches her daughter on the shoulder of a dirt road in a beautiful country, where two men, M16s in their hands, step up to her. She is at a checkpoint, a gate made of concertina and weaponized permission. Behind her, the fields have begun to catch, a braid of smoke through a page-blank sky. One man has black hair, the other a yellow mustache like a scar of sunlight. Stench of gasoline coming off their fatigues. The rifles sway as they walk up to her, their metal bolts winking in afternoon sun. A woman, a girl, a gun. This is an old story, one anyone can tell. A trope in a movie you can walk away from if it weren't already here, already written down. It has started to rain. The dirt around the woman's bare feet is flecked with red-brown quotation marks, her body a thing spoken with. Her white shirt clings against her bony shoulders as she sweats. The grass all around her is flattened, as if God had pressed his hand there, reserving a space for an 8th day. It's a beautiful country, she's been told, depending on who you are.
Hey there, my name is Bryan Washington. I'm the author of Lot, and the following is a bit from the collection's final story. I hear knocking at my door, and of course, it's Miguel. Dude's in the same clothes that I saw him in last. He asks if he can come in, and I say, fuck no. But we post up in the kitchen, and he sits, and I sit. You gonna offer me something to drink, he says. And I say, don't give me that shit. Miguel shrugs. He says, does that mean you're dry? I say, that means I've got nada. That means I've got nothing for you. Then, says Miguel, I guess I'm fine. After a while, and then he rubs his palms over the kitchen table. But there are eggs in the fridge, and those are beside some leftover beans from the Castillo. And those sit in some Tupperware above a flimsy bag of tortillas, so I crack the yolks into something like a scramble, and I fry the pinto beans beside them. And I fold the whole thing onto the tortillas above some slices of avocado with shredded cheese, and I tell Miguel that he's SOL for salsa because I don't fucking do that. But Miguel's just got this look on his face. You didn't have to, he says. You wouldn't have showed up if I hadn't, I say. So I watch Miguel eat, and he watches me watch him eat, and he says it's good, and I say, yeah, it's free, of course it's fucking good. And that's when I ask him the question that I've been meaning to, the question that's been on both of our minds. I say, have you heard from your parents? And Miguel doesn't look at me. He just keeps chewing his food, but eventually he says that they're fine. They made it back to their town, he says, but they don't have a phone. They call from this market in the square, and all I hear are the fucking roosters. And I say, that sounds like a terrible time. And Miguel says it's what they know. And I say, maybe one day they'll wake up. And Miguel says, maybe. And that's when he runs his fingers across the table, and I ask him the second question, the other one that had been on both of our minds. I say, do you think that they'll miss it here? Do you think that they'll miss their home? And that's when Miguel finally looks up at me, and he says, you go somewhere else, and you stay there, and then you go back home. Maybe then you'll be able to tell me how they're feeling. Thank you.
The Dylan Thomas Prize works with schools and colleges, university students and the community through its educational arm, Dylan Ed. Let's find out more. And now, it's time to welcome back Professor Di Smith to announce the winner of the 2020 Swansea University Dylan Thomas Prize.
The judges have now met virtually across the world. The discussion was passionate, the discussion was lengthy, and we all thought there were very many worthy winners in that short list of 6. But there can only be one winner of the Swansea University International Dylan Thomas Prize for 2020. And the prize goes to a collection of short stories which are wonderfully warm, which are generous, which are compassionate, which are written with wit and grace, and above all else in a style that makes a world that is otherwise unknowable to many of us part and parcel of our lives. So the winner of the Dylan Thomas Prize for 2020 is Bryan Washington for Lot. It's a great book.
Hey there, my name is Bryan Washington. I'm the author of the story collection Lot and the novel Memorial, and I just want to say a quick thanks to the Dylan Thomas Prize Committee, as well as the folks at Swansea University, and especially the undergrads who took the time with the book. I think it really is a gift whenever anyone gives you the time of the day for the stories that you want to tell, let alone stories for folks that you care about, communities that you care about, communities that you're part of. So a very, very quick thanks to my team at Atlantic Books, my team at Riverhead Books, to my agent Danielle Bukowski, and also all of my friends who've hyped me up. And thanks a lot to everyone who took the time or who's taking the time with Lot. One person's name might be on the award itself, but it really does take a village in order to put anyone on. So many thanks to y'all. Please take care and stay safe.
Many congratulations to our 2020 winner. And special thanks to all our partners and supporters this year. But most of all, thank you to all of you at home for watching this evening. Stay safe, stay well. Bye-bye.